36.
From Beaver Dam Lake to Horicon Marsh and everywhere in between, we're talking about what's important in your hometown. This is Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And happy Monday, March 10th of 2025. Good morning and welcome to Hometown Today on both 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. We are also streaming live on the DailyDodgeTV YouTube page. Today we will be welcoming in a few members of the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater to start out the show on the other side of this break. We'll first be speaking with the team putting together Mission Improbable, and then we'll switch over to what Goodnight Princess looks like. The details, when it is, ticket prices, where it is, what it's about, and everything in between. Hometown Today is brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings here in beautiful downtown Beaver Dam. It was 1958 when Macy's department store opened in New York. It was also the year that a young man named John McKinstry opened a furniture store in downtown Beaver Dam. Now here we are 167 years later. McKinstry's Home Furnishings is celebrating this milestone with a huge 167th anniversary sale. The entire store has been marked down for this specific event. Brand names like Lazy Boy, England, and Marshfield sofas, and Love Seats, Simmons and Symbol mattresses, Pride lift chairs, and so much more. Financing is available with no payments through the month of September. Shop Monday through Saturday until 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. The anniversary sale ends today. So today, March 10th, is the last day that this sale is going on. McKinstry's Home Furnishings 167th anniversary sale in downtown Beaver Dam, where customers matter and, of course, quality counts. We are also brought to you by Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors and so much more here in Beaver Dam. They cover showers, glass enclosures, tub-to-shower conversions. You can turn your standard bathroom into a luxurious spa with a tub-to-shower conversion. Tub-to-shower conversion can also drastically improve the quality of life for those that have trouble lifting their legs up and over the wall-based standard tub. And then with tubs built into stand-alone features. New year, new look. You could bring in the new year as well with a fresh update from Professional Floor Covering. You can find them over at 713 Park Avenue. Call them up at 920-887-9972. That is 920-887-9972. Randy and his team will be able to help you completely redesign everything if that is what you are going for. Or you can find them online for more information at proflr.com. We'll step aside for a quick break. When we come back, previewing Mission Improbable with the team here on Hometown Today, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
This week. Daily Dodge.
And welcome back to Hometown Today. We are streaming live on Daily Dodge TV on YouTube, also on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Brought to you by both McKinstry's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Beaver Dam, and of course, Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors and so much more. Randy and the team have you covered out there. All right, so we've got two different performances to cover, but first, before we get into anything, I just want to kind of go down the line, introduce everyone, and get theater backgrounds and everything covered. Naomi Guzman-Boomsma, got that right? All right, Danny Nugent and Kevin Lipke. If we could just go down the line, Naomi, we'll start with you. Your background, your involvement in Mission Improvable, and how you initially got into theater. What kind of got your interest?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, the whole life story.
I don't know if you have that much time.
Wow. There you go.
Well, yeah, I've been performing since I was 5. I was in a children's choir and then did stuff in elementary school, did all the plays in high school. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school. That was fun. And
That's good for you.
and I played a nun a couple times, Sound of Music and some other things kind of. And so I've been in theater, and then I went to college and was a voice performance major and a theater minor and did stuff with the Milwaukee Players, and then kept doing theater outside of college, and then I actually moved out of the country. I became a sign language interpreter, which is completely not anything related to what I started with, but I became an interpreter, and then I went overseas to Indonesia, and I hadn't been in theater for a while, and so they actually had an expat community theater there, and Dan's like, what? And
All learned stuff here.
yeah. So I performed with them, and then somehow I got, nominated to be on the board of their theater thing, and I was directing and doing shows there too. So, and then I came back and I was a performer with the National Theater of the Deaf. I was the only hearing person in our troupe, which was only 4 people. And we performed in different places. And then I kind of had to take a 12-year hiatus, got married, had children, that kind of thing. And now I moved into this area and found these wonderful people, this wonderful theater, and got involved again. So, yeah, now I'm teaching and being in shows, and pretty soon, hopefully, next season, I'll be directing. So, yeah, I'm doing everything.
Do you remember the first piece you ever directed? If I can have you page back to that.
The first piece I ever directed.
Maybe
I
not.
think it was like an abridged version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or
Okay.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then you mentioned you just moved back to Beaver Dam. When did that move happen?
I
How
didn't
long
move
have you
back.
been-
I just moved here.
Oh, you just moved here. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm from
Oh,
Milwaukee.
this is your first time here. Okay.
I'm from
Gotcha.
the Milwaukee area.
She moved to
I feel like I hear so many people. They're like, "Oh, I left Beaver Dam for a little bit, and then I made my way back." So that's
No.
my bad for making. So when
No,
did you move
I
here?
I made my way
Yeah.
here somehow.
This is next summer journey.
Somehow.
Well,
Through
when
marriage.
did you move here then?
Yeah. Huh?
When did you move here then?
Last year, 2023. Like it was like, I think in school years, because I'm a teacher. So I'm,
I hear you,
so it was, the summer of
Brand New Life
2020.
was your first show, right?
Yeah.
Here at BD, which was last 2020.
No, I was in the murder mystery first. I was in
The Sound
The
of
Sound
Murder.
of
There we
Murder.
go.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome stuff. Well, how do you like the area so far?
I really like the Beaver Dam area. I love the community theater that we're involved in, and but my life is all over the place. So yeah, it's not like just here.
I felt that. We'll move on over to Danny Nugent. Danny, your journey, how you got involved in theater. We'll do the whole life story.
Yeah,
thing
all
again.
right. It's my turn. I didn't know about Indonesia. That's wild. All right.
Since birth.
Yeah,
No.
yes.
Yeah, we'll start at the very
I was
beginning.
acting while I came out of the womb. No, I started at Telltale here in Beaver Dam. Grew up here in Beaver Dam. I did my first show, I'm pretty sure, was Robin Hood. And my second show was like a fever dream. I keep telling people what we did, and nobody remembers what it was. So I can't remember the show. I just remember some plot points when I was little. But I did Telltale, and then I went to high school and did all the high school musicals. Never High School Musical, the proper, but
Right.
all the musicals we did in high school. And then went to college at UW Fond du Lac. I started out with my theater journey there. For collegiate, I focused pretty much mainly on theater for my next 3 years. I studied at Fond du Lac and then went to UW Green Bay and got most of my theater work in. Took all the acting classes, directing classes, voice classes, and then eventually got a minor in theater performance along with my communications degree from UW Superior that I finished when I was a stay-at-home dad. And then when I finished that degree, I finally got back into theater. I kind of took a 12-year break for kids, family, whatever. Got back into theater with Death of a Salesman here at BDACT again in 2021. And then since then, I've just been hitting the ground running with everything theater-related here in Beaver Dam, mainly due to the support of my wife, who lets me do it. Like, she's amazing and puts up with a lot for sure, because I am literally always at the theater.
Yeah. Crazy hours.
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
Same.
exactly. After this week, though, we're taking a break. Literally, Sunday wraps improv, and we're on a plane 5:30 Monday morning to go to New Mexico for a family vacation.
wow.
So,
Nice.
yeah, we're getting away and
Take the break while you can, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and then next year, hopefully, directing and being in some shows again. But yeah.
I like it.
That's me.
You mentioned it started with the Telltale. Was it at that point where you realized, like, I want to do this for a very long time? I want to go further my education, do it in college, come back?
Exactly. Yeah. I struggled finding my place in life. And the theater is the one place where I always knew, I'm really good at this. Like, I might not get the biggest part every time, but when I'm on stage, people pay attention and people like it. I figured that out really early. So
And we love the laughter, don't we?
Yeah, we
Like
love
when
the
when we
laughter.
get people to laugh.
yeah,
and things
yeah,
like that.
it just it fills your soul,
Well,
or the gasp. And
Yeah, right.
you know?
Yeah.
all the reactions.
Yep,
Yes.
yep, every single one.
Well, I just shared with you guys, like, I went to UW Oshkosh,
Yeah.
and I know we've probably got a couple mutual friends that cross path there
Yeah.
at some point, and we shared a building with the theater department
Yeah.
there. You have no choice but to become very, very, very close. You're spending so many hours
Yeah.
together, and Danny, it sounds like one of the parts that you enjoy the most is that sense of community.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting to know each other,
Yep.
on and off the stage.
Exactly. And Beaver Dam is a great community. Like, we moved here when we started having kids, and we always pictured moving to Madison once they got older because we wanted to be in more of an artsy community. But since then, Beaver Dam, like, BDACT has gotten huge. Like, we have a brand new theater. We have the Peonies Arts Festival. We have all these little artsy festivals throughout the year that is like, oh no, we have community right here. And it might be a small city, but we're growing and diversifying. Like, it's not just the same people just moving away, coming back. We're getting different people from different background and getting different cultures here in Beaver Dam, and it's really beautiful.
It's awesome to see firsthand
Yep.
as well. And then we'll advance over to you, Kevin, your journey, how you got involved, and how the whole story has kind of developed from there.
Yeah, so I also started, my first show was with Telltale Theater. I think it was either Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty, something where I was a gentleman of the court and got to waltz.
Okay, awesome.
Like as a third grader, I think. So, like, interesting thing, different reactions to that. But, life skills. So then I realized I was not going to be a singer-dancer, and I took a break from theater for a while. And in high school, I tried to play in as many pit orchestras as I could. I'm a violinist, and so I found my place in the pit, and that's still one of my favorite places to be, is in the pit orchestra. And I went to college in various places, and I made my way onto the stage a few times, mostly playing violin.
Okay.
And then as with you folks, I took about a 12-year break. Yeah.
I'm sensing a common theme.
Yeah.
And then
Can't wait till the
I
children
was
are 12.
I was up in Green Bay because that's where the jobs were, and then I had the opportunity to move back home and get back involved with the theater. So I started doing pit orchestras again, and then I had the opportunity to be in a radio play, and I thought, okay, I can handle that because I don't have to memorize any lines.
Right.
So I got to do Jake Revolver, and that was a really fun experience. And then I was invited to audition for a murder mystery, and I thought, well, that sounds like, again, not a whole lot of memorization. Like, I can handle this. And so I just kind of eased my way in. And now I've directed a murder mystery. I'm putting on this improv show. I'm going to be producing with a partner. I'm going to be co-producing 2 shows this year.
That's awesome.
So I've gotten bitten pretty bad, but, and then still in the pit.
So that's an interesting angle. You were close to theater. You were in the pit. So I played brass, so we never really did that. My girlfriend was a violinist, and she said that was so cool to kind of have the director play middleman and be like, all right, here we go. It's your turn again.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's a different kind of music that you're playing, and it's a different way to play because a lot of times, especially as a string player, you're playing the classics, you're playing Beethoven, you're playing Mozart, and then you're playing Sondheim, and you're like, wait, G and a B flat together as a double stop going where?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Gets unorthodox. Yep.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all of you sharing that. I just wanted to kind of lay the foundation, get to know everyone before we got into Mission Improbable. We're going to step aside for a quick break and then dive into the who, what, when, where, why of the show, how much tickets are, all the good details there. When we come back here on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
I love the bumpers, right? And we got a pretty good selection of bumpers. 5.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Corey Sparks filling in today for Kale Zomer. We have Naomi Guzman-Boomsma. We have Danny Nugent and Kevin Lipke here we kind of got to know everyone's background. I've been given a little homework. I'm trying to write some song lyrics for a game we're going to play at some point. I am 2/3 of the way done, so we're almost there. I just got to think of one more here. And I told you guys I listen to a lot of indie, but it's good that it doesn't need to be like a well-known song. So it can just be anything.
I do hate to break it to you, but you need 4 total.
Oh, 4.
Yeah.
So okay, nice. I'm not even halfway there.
You're not halfway there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good
You're
news.
almost halfway.
Off to a great start.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, I will try and stall a little bit and ask you a couple more questions so that I can come up with 3 more. Mission Improbable is coming up. It's from March 13th through the 16th, going to be at Encore Hall. And we got everybody's theater background. Now could I kind of just get an idea of who is doing what for Mission Improbable?
Naomi?
Or yeah, we'll go, I guess,
go back
end of the
to
table
Oh,
back.
okay.
We'll make that
Gotcha.
I should have said that. That's
Gotcha.
bad hosting. No, you're
No,
good.
that's
fine.
Well, I'm performing.
Yeah.
So I'm performing in it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Mission Improbable is weird. It's not like a play where we have roles. It's like you're a player,
Right.
And this guy decides which one you're playing in. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
I'm
I'm-
also a player.
So I'm directing, and with an improv show, it's a different kind of directing because usually you're trying to figure out the blocking where people are going to stand on the stage.
Sure.
You're trying to figure out like what's the best way to deliver this line. With improv, there's no script to work off of, so you have no idea where anybody's standing at any given time. You have no idea what's going to be coming out of anybody's mouth next, which can be interesting.
I was gonna say,
So
does
we-
that make your job more difficult or easier? Because it sounds more free flow as opposed to more
It's
structured.
definitely very free flow. I don't. I have directed both, so I would say it's different.
Okay.
I would agree with you there.
That's the best way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
But he gives us guidance. He gives us guidelines too, and
Yeah,
parameters.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Reminds us of the rules because there are rules of improv. This is a teaching group, right? Like you've done a lot of director work to get us where we're at.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's always one of my goals with the show is to try to have people having a good time because I think as a director you're kind of the steward of the theater, and so you have a lot of people that you're trying to encourage to come out and do shows, and for people to stay involved with the theater like these folks are with multiple shows, like you want them to have a good time when they're doing this and donating all of this time for the theater and for that love of applause and those reactions that you're getting. So I try to make sure that it's a good time for people to have, and I do like to have some kind of an educational aspect. I like to feel like I'm contributing something that can be taken forward to other shows when I'm not involved, that they're doing little, oh yeah, Kevin said this thing.
Refer back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of ego going into that. But
Ego's not a problem. Just use it for good.
but that's definitely a goal. And then, of course, to put on a great show that people are going to enjoy.
So typically in an improv show, how does the interaction with the audience look compared to, I don't even want to say a normal theater performance, but one that might be a little more serious, where they might have to be a little more quieter? Is this one more like we're going to laugh and be shocked and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, and especially the Friday show.
Yeah.
That's the shocking show. So the other
That's what I'm
shows,
waiting for
the other shows are a little more toned down, but it's a lot of audience interaction. So basically, what we are putting together is we have done a lot of practicing to figure out how does this improv, we're calling them missions because we're mission improbable.
Okay.
So we have improv missions, and so with these improv missions we go through and we say, okay, how does this mission work? How are we going to do this? And it's basically sketch comedy without a script. So we have little maybe 5-minute vignettes where we're trying to tell some kind of a story, but something crazy is happening at the same time, and usually either the craziness or the story or both is coming from the audience suggestions. So we're getting up there. Every show is different because we don't know what we're going to be doing until we ask, and we say things like, write down some song lyrics for us, and then we're going to use those. And we have no idea what they are. We have no idea how we're going to use them, except for we've got those rules that Danny was mentioning. So we're like, okay, we know how this fits within the mission.
Interesting. So is that the term is like players, or like who is, I forgot what was used before. If you are acting in improv, what's
Players.
the correct? Okay, so from that perspective, what does preparing for this look like? Because you're essentially taking what's thrown at you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's still a way to kind of simulate that before the actual performance happens.
Yeah. Improv is weird. A lot of it is your brain chaotic enough to do it?
Right.
Like you have to. And I don't want to say that type A people can't do improv because they certainly can. We have type A people. You're you're probably type A, right?
I have no idea.
A little bit. Yeah, all right. But like you need.
Got to be a little wacky.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You need to
And
be
very
able,
fast.
and
You have to
very
think
fast.
quickly on your
Yeah,
feet.
yeah. So preparation is, do you have it? Yeah, great. All right, this guy's gonna teach you. That's how I prepare. I've been doing improv through high school and stuff like that, so I've been doing it for a long time. But it's very different, like you said.
Yeah.
But
It's-
acting is even though it's not improv, there are parts of it that are improv because sometimes
to.
if people
Yeah.
forget their
Yeah.
lines or
Yeah.
something goes wrong,
Gotta
you have
pivot.
to
Miss their
you have to
blocking.
quick
Yeah.
pivot
Yeah.
and make up something on the
Yeah.
spot, and that happens in our shows in the murder mystery or whatever that Kevin and I were involved in. Sometimes people totally are lost, and so you're like, "Hey, what about da da da?" And
Yeah.
then you're trying to get them to get to wherever they are. But the one thing that Kevin's done is we have different missions, as he's calling them, and we've practiced them. But we switch up the things that are going on. So you'll have 3 people doing this one thing, like what we're going to do today, and so we get different ideas of what it is to say. So we've practiced it, but that doesn't mean that's what's going to happen in a show.
Right.
But it's what you have to come up with on the spot.
Yeah, so we do a lot of like listening exercises where we try to focus on making sure that we're paying attention to what the other people in the scene are doing, what they're saying, that we're doing a good job of taking turns, giving people space to jump in.
Yeah.
And if you're giving them space and they're not jumping in, that you're jumping in to cover.
Right.
So there's a lot of that, and just trying to get used to that quick thinking, building those quick thinking skills, and really being able to utilize those throughout the rest of the performance. And then it is weird because I will have a lot of times where I'm standing there and I'm like, I feel like I'm lecturing, like I'm talking about like, this is why this game is funny. So we're going to do this. And the humor
how this
comes
is gonna
from the fact that we're doing it this way. And like, you're almost dissecting the jokes. And it's like, you always hear like, the jokes are super funny when you have to explain them. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, of course.
yeah. So
But to comedy people, they are like
Yeah.
it's like communications people talking about talking. You know, like it helps you learn more. It sounds repetitive and it sounds annoying to a non-theater person maybe, but like I find it hilarious to know each and every way something is funny. Like it's.
Well, and it reins you in too,
Yeah,
so that you're
yes,
more focused
yes,
on what it is
yeah,
that
so
you're
we-
trying to do to be funny,
Exactly.
kind of thing.
Especially because we don't have a script. Like we need to have just things and like pathways and like he's setting the rivers and we're gonna fill the rivers with the funniness. You know, yeah, it's a good team.
I think everyone's said it in some way, shape, or form already, but you have to be quick in this, right? My limited experience in knowing about improv and hearing about it is there's not a whole lot of silence. How do you figure that? Like, are there nonverbal cues if someone doesn't have something like, bail me out, I don't have it?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
yeah, like the big eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, or just something that you learn to read, like, oh, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
But even like, but even this
Right.
could mean just an expression
Could
of
be
what's
an act.
happening.
Yep.
You have to know specifically what big eyes they're using, and it's just being on stage together. Like,
Yeah.
it's
It's building that chemistry
Yeah.
throughout the process. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even last night at a dress rehearsal, I was in a scene with Shane, and he was like, "Well, I had planned to do this thing, but then you jumped in and started doing something totally different, so we went with that."
Yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I want to do one housekeeping point before we kick it to break again, and then we're going to welcome Diana Ogle from the Park Village Shopping Center on through phone on the other side of the break. So I see March 13th through the 16th at Encore Hall. Can I just get ticket prices from you guys, and then how people can go about making sure that they attend?
Yeah, absolutely. So Encore Hall is a second floor performance space.
Yep.
It's a little bit more intimate than when you go to a theater and you see something on the stage, you're sitting in the stage, you kind of get that separation. This is much more like a comedy club. So it's very low key. Tickets are $15. It's general admission. And I was checking this morning, we have about 70 seats left for each of the performances. So definitely they are going fast, and we'd love to have those filled up. And the more people we have in the audience, obviously, the better it works, because we're asking for so many suggestions, and having that interaction with the audience is great. And so then showing up to the theater, you can get tickets at the box office, open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., or call 920-885-6891.
All right, and then I know you wanted Kevin to shout out the cast as well. Let's do that, because then I'm going to do my very best. This next break's a little longer, to get 2 more song lyric lines, and then we should be good for the game when we come back.
All right, cool. All right, so the cast, there's me directing. We have Josh Ryan, Kevin Cushing, Danny Nugent, Sharon Krieger, Emily Schrader-Orvik, Joe Orvik, husband and wife pair. We try not to put them in too many scenes together. Shane Oman, Thomas Rayfelt, Naomi Guzman-Boomsma, and Tekla Woodardzik Nunez. And then our great team behind the scenes, we have Megan Boyce is my assistant director and stage manager, so she makes sure that the whole thing goes smooth. Tommy Schultz is our tech, so even though like it's supposed to be a really simple show, it's actually very technical, so he does a lot of work for this show.
Okay.
Which a lot of work for every show.
Yeah, we
Shout
appreciate
out to
Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah, definitely. And then our co-producers for this are Jill Kaufman and Jennifer Bullig, and they just do a great job of supporting us and make sure that everything is coming together. And we could not do it without those backstage people, as well as the lovely, talented performers that we have. It is a great crew. These are going to be wonderful shows. Every night is going to be different. Every cast is going to be a little bit different. We're running different missions every show, so you can come all 4 nights and have a totally different experience all 4 nights.
That's really cool because obviously for most performances, if it's going on, this is going to be Thursday through Sunday. It's like if I see it once, I kind of saw it, but every single one could be unique. So you could go 4 nights in a row and you're going to get a different experience.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have people that aren't even like in some of the shows, so like a different cast even like. So just we're working with different people each time too. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome stuff. All right, I'm nearly ready for this game. We'll kick it to break here, and then we'll come back, talk with Diana Ogle, and I have 2 more lyrics to write. I think I can manage that in a few minutes here. This is Hometown Today. You are listening live on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge, and watching on Daily Dodge TV.
95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
We welcome you back to Hometown Today, presented to you by both McKinstry's Home Furnishings and Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors and so much more. Both of those wonderful establishments right here in Beaver Dam, as is the Park Village Shopping Center. And we have Diana Ogle on the line right now to kick off our Monday from the Park Village Shopping Center. Diana, how are you doing?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing good. Had a pretty good weekend. It's getting warmer out, so I've been actually I'll jog around town, and I've been getting a lot closer to the Park Village Shopping Center, so which is good. That's a good goal for me.
Absolutely. We do have a lot going on this week at the Park Village Shopping Center. Got a lot of special dates coming up. First date is Wednesday, my birthday. So
Ooh,
shop
happy
early,
early
shop
birthday.
often. You got to know that. Shop early, shop often. And then, of course, we have Pie Day on the 14th.
Ooh.
Pie Day. Now, get this. At the Park Village Shopping Center at Fox Brothers Piggly Wiggly, you can pick up an apple pie for $3.14.
Ah. Oh, my goodness. That is coming up. That's 4
That
days away.
isn't so
Okay.
bad. You can get an 8-inch apple pie for $3.14. You can get a Bella Taroi pizza for $3.14. A Roma pizza for $3. It's pizza and pie. It's just pie.
I love it. How long has that been going on for? That's a really good idea.
Well, the pie thing's been going on for a minute now. And, of course, I'm not a math major. I'm an English major, so I don't know anything about that. And I'm excited that you guys are talking to the folks that are doing the impromptu thing.
Yes.
I'm a good friend of Tekla, so that should be just unbelievably crazy because she's a little nutty, and I love her for that.
That is awesome stuff. I don't know if it's too far ahead to look at this, but I see there's a Spring Fling craft fair coming up in a couple months, too.
Yes, there's
Awesome.
one on May 17th. That one's coming up on May 17th at the Park Village Shopping Center. We're going to have crafter vendors, and we're going to be selling Beaver Dam pepper plants.
Ooh, very
Here's
fun.
the time of season. Now, here's the cool thing. I do have seeds, Beaver Dam pepper seeds available, and they are located at the Park Village Shopping Center, of course, at Green Acres CBD Wellness. Here's the coolest thing. I'm telling you, this is the best deal. Best deal. You're going to get a packet of seeds, you're going to get a T-shirt, and one of those 10 tumblers that are a commemorative 10th anniversary of the Pepper Fest, all for $15.
Oh, wow. That's an awesome deal. So we've got that going on. I'm still stuck on Pie Day. That's a really good deal.
I know.
3.14.
And then, of course, we got St. Patty's Day, which
Yes.
you're supposed to plant these seeds on St. Patty's Day. That's the deal.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah,
And
you got to plant the seeds, drink green beer, eat corned beef. Can it get any better?
that is amazing. Any other updates coming up? And happy early birthday, by the way. A couple days away. That's exciting.
Absolutely. No, we got a new store coming. Can't let the cat out of the bag quite yet about that. But we do have a new store coming, so that's going to be pretty exciting. They're doing some renovations now, and it is going to be a way people are going to go, oh, my golly, this is so good. So
Awesome. Well, Diana, happy early birthday again, and we appreciate you jumping on. I'm looking forward to Pie Day.
absolutely. You're just stuck on Pie Day. Really, nothing wrong. I mean, you can get an pizza pie, apple pie. It's just pie.
Yes, that was the highlight of the
For
call
less
for
than
me.
less than $7, you can have apple. You can have a whole pie and a whole pizza pie. Yeah.
Sounds like a good afternoon to me.
I am, buddy. All right, have a great day, everybody. Thanks.
You as well. She said Pie Day at first. I'm like, what? Oh, 3.14. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Pie's been going on for a minute.
We are going to. That was wild. I was like,
That was
okay,
good, yeah.
that I meant the celebration, but that's okay. That's completely fine. All right, we set up a game. I was given homework to write 4 different song lyric lines. Probably didn't phrase that right. And basically, you guys are going to do improv off of it. And you don't know what those lines are. Got complimented on my handwriting, which was nice. Appreciate that. How do we go from here?
All right. So here's what we're gonna
Okay.
do. We're gonna play a game. We're gonna play. This is a mission that we call two-liners, and the way this works is Naomi is going to be our normal person, as normal as theater people can be, and so
True.
Naomi can say whatever, and she's going to help us work our way through this scene. Whereas Danny and I are restricted to only being able to say the song lyrics that you have written for us on these little sticky notes that we have here.
I see.
So we will shortly turn these over and we will go ahead, but then we need a scene suggestion. But what we're going to do, because this is a special event, we can get our tickets for this and other kinds of shows at bdact.org or through the box office that I was talking about. But let's say we're having some trouble convincing some people. Maybe, Naomi, you're going to convince your friends to go and see an improv show.
Sounds good. All right. So, guys, we need to work on promoting our show. So, any suggestions that you guys have?
If you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it.
That is true. I did in a other circumstance, but trying to get people to the show, I'm not sure if we can afford rings for everybody.
I am one of one.
They not like us.
No, they aren't like us. I understand, and you are one of one. You are very unique, Danny.
You're not so tough.
Well, I don't know. You haven't caught me at a bad moment.
Well, I'm one of one.
No, I understand. But we're trying to bring the people in. So
They not like us?
Well, they are human beings, so they are like us in that respect. But we want to try and bring them into as audience members. So what kind of other things could we do in order to bring them in?
You're not so tough. I'm one of one.
Okay, I don't want to be challenged like that, Danny. I mean, I do respect you, and you are very unique and one of one for sure. But if you keep going at me like that, I might have to get a little tougher with you.
They not like us.
No, they are not like us, especially. Yeah. So, but any other suggestions that you have, Kevin? Yeah.
If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it.
You're not so tough.
Well, yeah. Now, see, he's challenging everybody. I don't know. It might be difficult to have him in the cast if he's going to keep going on like this.
I'm one of one.
I know you are kind of on your own.
If you liked it, you should have put a ring on it.
Exactly. If you did like it, then you should put a ring on it. You know what? Maybe they could ring the phone to call and get tickets. That would be the best way to do that. There you go.
And that's game.
That is awesome. So, Naomi, you're kind of like laying it up almost, going, okay, I kind of understand what I have at my disposal now, the 4 different song lines, and then it's just back and forth from there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually with some action and being
was
on
awesome.
stage. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to move around a little.
Yeah, that was really difficult saying still.
Yeah.
I was using my hands a lot.
Well, and we do have we didn't talk about this, but we do have fidgets
Everyone has
in
a fidget.
hand pretty much because we are kind of those people who can't sit still.
We're all
very well.
neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Oh, I
Yeah.
twiddle with this pen behind the laptop
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
but I strategically do it right here. So
Yeah,
no one
there you
knows. Doing it for like the last hour. Okay, I'm curious, just because I assigned the song lyrics, which one for each of you was tougher than the other? Like if you were to go, okay, this one was harder than this one in your pairs.
So that if you liked it, you should put a ring on it. Was a little bit tougher
Yep.
working. They not like us. You can change the inflection a little bit.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
can try to convey different meanings. And so those are the ones that are kind of fun to play with, where you're like, okay, I've said this 4 or 5 times in the same way, and now I'm going to throw it out there and try to make it a totally different meaning.
Right.
And so that's always fun.
Yeah. You're Not So Tough was the harder one for me because me being one of one, that fits me.
You're like,
Yeah, that
we
totally
can go with
that's-
unique here.
Yeah, that's me to the core. But I am not aggressive.
No.
Like
I was gonna say, you kind of had
Yeah.
to go hostile there.
Yeah,
You're like,
I did.
I'm gonna provoke you.
Yeah, and I said it to her, I said it to the audience, and I said it to Kevin. So I was trying to change it up, you know. But yeah, that one was a bit tougher. But I mean, I think we both used them.
And
the
it's
same amount
hard,
as the other ones.
and it's even hard to react to the same thing that they're saying over, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
now how
Yeah.
can I
How
spin
do I?
that?
How do we get another angle in
How
on this?
can I
Yeah.
change that?
Yeah.
Well, that was awesome. I cannot say I would have been able to be on the other end of that. I did my part. I wrote
You
the
did.
questions, right?
They're good ones.
They not like us. All right.
not
So,
like
Not like us.
quickly, I know we recovered the housekeeping stuff before, but I just want to make sure one more time before we switch over to Goodnight Princess in the 10 o'clock hour. If we could just go through dates, how much the tickets are, and I think we got a pretty good example of why people should go out and see Mission Improbable.
Yeah, definitely. So the shows are Thursday, March 13th, and that one is kind of a PG-13. We use what we call the Simpsons rule. If you can get away with it on The Simpsons, we can do it on stage.
Okay.
And that one's at 7:30. Then we have our Friday, our shocking show, I think we called it earlier. So this is our Friday. Last year, we were very deliberate. Like when people think about improv and sketch comedy, a lot of times I think they think about like some racy jokes and using some swear words on stage. Slapstick and being just a little more suggestive than we wanted to be. And so last year, for our pilot with this, we were like, okay, let's see if the community responds to an improv show. And they did, and thank you very much, community. Yeah. And then we said, let's try to throw in a show that's more of that kind of humor that people are more expecting. But we'll throw some warnings on there so that people who don't want that don't show up that night thinking they're going to get like the kind of normal show that we do. So that's our Friday show at 7:30. And then Saturday is also at 7:30. That one's back to PG-13 and The Simpsons rule. And then Sunday, March 16th, we have a matinee at 2, and that is for all ages. I think anyone from age 4 and up is going to be okay. If there are kids there, we do try to get suggestions from the kids because a lot of times those are some of the funniest.
Oh my goodness, just off the wall. Yep.
Yeah. So we have a lot of fun with that one. We did that last year, and that went really well. So we've got that at 2 p.m. Tickets are $15. It's general admission for all 4 performances. Those tickets are available at bdact.org, or you can contact the box office on Tuesdays or Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that number again is 920-885-6891.
All right. Well, Kevin, like you brought it up before, this is a very unique opportunity because not only is it going on from Thursday through Sunday, but if you go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you truly are seeing a different version of the show every single time. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we definitely. That's one of my challenges as a director was figuring out we have so many amazing performers, and they gave me a real challenge because as I'm thinking about, well, who's good in this game? No, everybody's good in this mission. So I can okay, so who do we need to highlight? How do we make sure that stage time is managed so that everybody has an opportunity to be up there? And we have something like 30 missions that we've got prepared. So each one is used once or twice across those 4 performances, and that's going to be a great opportunity for us to give a unique show every time, and they're all going to be hilarious.
Yeah, I was dying for the 3 or 4 minutes that we did that there, so that was awesome stuff. All right, we will head over to break, and then in the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to preview Goodnight, Princess, which is happening on March 15th, which is this upcoming Saturday. This is Hometown Today, presented to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings and Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors, and so much more, both on Daily Dodge TV and 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Welcome back to Hometown Today, streaming live on Daily Dodge TV on the YouTube page and 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. We are brought to you by both McKinstry's Home Furnishings, who is celebrating their 167th anniversary with a 167th anniversary sale. Whole store has been marked down for this event. They've got brand names, like Lazy Boy, England, Marshfield Sofas and Love Seats, Simmons and Simple Mattresses, Pride Lift Chairs, and so much more. Financing is available with no payments until September, so you can delay that about 6 months. Shop Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Anniversary sale does end today, so a bit of some urgency there for the 167th anniversary sale. Ends today. They've got more coming up throughout this week and going forward. And of course, Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors and so much more. They've got you covered with showers, glass enclosures, tub to shower conversions, tubs. With the glass enclosures, you can convert to a shower with glass panels and doors. It's a great way to make your bathroom space feel a little bit bigger and add a sense of luxury to that feel as well. Professional Floor Covering is your store for floors and so much more. Randy and his team have you covered over at 713 Park Avenue right here in Beaver Dam. You can also call them up at 920-887-9972. That's 920-887-9972. Or visit them online at proflr.com. And this is one of the craziest live reads I've ever had. My co-host on the Dam Sports Show from 4 to 5 p.m., Wally Lukashinsky, is fasting from now through April 19th. Living off of just fish, rice, and water. He's posting updates twice a week for a 46-day or about 7-week-long journey. For every 100 items donated to St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry right here in Beaver Dam, he earns himself a cheap meal. So hopefully well on their way there. We'll give you an update at some point through the next day or two. But listen for updates. Go to our social media pages at ESPN Beaver Dam or WBEV Radio on Facebook to know what item to bring this week. We have a new emphasis this week. Week 1 was pancake mix and syrup. Item drop-off locations are St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry in Beaver Dam at 125 Dodge Drive, or the station right here at 100 Bill McCullum Way in Beaver Dam. We will preview Goodnight Princess, which is going on 5 days from now, this upcoming Saturday, when we return on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. We are also streaming live on the Daily Dodge TV YouTube channel. If you hit the subscribe button, the bell notifications, you get notified every time that we go live, whether it be Hometown Today, the damn sports show later, community comment, paid programming, taking care of business, prep high school sports, everything in between. You'll get notified as soon as we go live and the button goes red. All right, so we were talking improv in the first hour of the show today. Mission Improbable coming up from Thursday through Sunday. I am now joined by Naomi Guzman Boomsma and Danny Nugent. I'm struggling here. You can tell it's a Monday, right? But so Goodnight Princess is coming up on this Saturday. It is shown for one day, and I kind of just want to go over what this one looks like, since the structure, for one, it's not improv, right? So everything that looks like. Naomi, we could start with you.
Throw that to the side.
Yeah. We could kind of paint the picture here on what Goodnight Princess looks like, and if anyone wants to get tickets, how they can do that.
Yes. So Goodnight Princess is our final project, as it were, for the acting up class. So it's the middle school acting theater class that I was running, and then Danny came and joined me maybe a month or so in, something like that. Yeah. And so we have done improv with our kids, which was interesting.
Yeah, a lot of learning exercises.
Yeah, so they're 6th through 8th grade, and so we decided, or I was going through my different scripts and trying to find one that would work, and it just happens to be this one, and it happens to be kind of following the theme that much of our season is like very fairy tale, very
Besides,
fairy tale.
I love you.
Yeah, and so we so that's what we chose, and we have 9 students, actors who.
Just 9?
Yeah, and there's only 2 that have the same role throughout, and the rest of them switch up characters throughout the show. So it's actually quite fun. So they get to be different people, throw on different costumes or different pieces, and there you go.
Awesome.
So the Goodnight Princess, the premise of it is there's Princess Nara, who is unable to fall asleep and hasn't been able to fall asleep for quite a while. And she's desperate to find a way to fall asleep and just, be able to get some shut-eye, which is, I think, pretty much every person on Earth trying to get some sleep.
Yeah, Lucy plays that role really well.
Yeah.
So she's a very frustrated little princess that it just... It's hard to sleep sometimes.
Yeah, and so we bring in all these different characters who have, been known to sleep, Rip Van Winkle and Sleeping Beauty and
the good fairy, bad fairy.
Good fairies and bad fairies, and we have, different characters that come in and out trying to help her to sleep, and eventually something does eventually happen. So
there is a conclusion.
There is a conclusion, yes.
So she gets surrounded by some pretty good resources. Like,
yes.
all right, we've got experience in this.
She gets surrounded by some chaotic resources.
Chaotic
and then at the end,
resources,
a good resource
go off the
comes
rails.
along.
Yeah.
What does the timeline look like in terms of when the show was selected and how everything has progressed to what everything looks like 5 days before in the final planning phases? I sense a little stress there.
No
stress at all.
Never. Not when working with children or in theater.
or with Danny.
We've been doing the class. It's every Thursday afternoon, evening, and since September, and then
October.
January is when we started actually rehearsing or doing. I had them audition and things like that, and say what kind of roles that they wanted to do, and then I picked people from there, and then we've been rehearsing ever since. It's difficult because it's only one day
Once a week. And it's
Okay.
only an hour and 15 minutes for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's the same length as our classes. So
Yeah.
it's hard when you're rehearsing to try and get everything.
And these kids are doing the work.
Yeah.
Right? They're very talented.
Yeah.
It's just showing that like we talked before, our community is just filled with artsy people.
Mm-hmm.
Like and the artsy grown-ups are putting their artsy kids in situations where they're gonna flourish as well. And it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see.
And they've had to do homework of memorizing
Oh, yeah.
lines and stuff
Yeah. I was
I was
outside
just
of
going
the
to say,
theater.
they've got to take it home, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and a lot of like if you don't have one of the 2 big roles, you're in 30 to 40% of the play because you have so many other roles.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a lot of line work, and then because it's all dialogue, there's no singing. It's all dialogue, and they're getting it, and they're getting their characters down too. And it's it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and so we have 2 rehearsals this week where we're trying to put everything together. So, yeah, last week we tried to throw in some costumes and props and stuff like that, and so now we're going to add sound and microphones and and set and all. I mean, so
Starts to get real.
So it starts to get real. Yeah. So it's a culmination project, that to wrap everything up, and we're very proud of them and how much they've accomplished in the short amount of time that we've actually had a chance to prepare for this particular production. So.
And that might answer the next question I had is, compared to your expectations at the beginning of the timeline, anything that went better than you thought so far, but also challenges? Sounds like the timeline itself and the amount of time that you get to spend with them.
The
sometimes.
Discovering of the set.
Oh, discovering of the set? Okay.
Dan's my guy on scene, and he's gonna be the stage manager for it. But I'm trying to figure out logistics of like having actually kind of scenery and things like that, and trying to work with, because our stage is used by so many people. I mean, we've had the Millbillies there. We're going to have Paddle City coming up. We have another show, Cobble Me This, where their set is like literally right behind the curtain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we're in front of the curtain, and so when the curtain's closed, their set's right there.
Yeah.
So trying to maneuver around other things. I mean, they're doing a great job of not disturbing other people's stuff too. So
we do a good job at sharing the space. The set was fun. We were very fortunate to find brand new pieces in our storage that haven't been used that look a lot like a castle. So I spent most of my week last week helping Pat, who does everything around the theater, Pat Lutz, building that and getting everything spiked and where it needs to be for the show. And it's so awesome because it's just big plastic pieces that we can take on and off, so it's really easy and it looks professional. They're professional pieces that were just donated to the theater, and we put them together, and the kids get to use them for the first time, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Brand new set.
Yep, exactly.
I want to jump in. We mentioned community before, just how this group has grown together on the other side of the break. And, again, what these final few days looks like as you throw everything together. And finally, as you said, like you're adding the sound and it really starts to get real. But we'll step aside for a break real quick. When we come back, more ahead of Goodnight Princess, airing on March 15th here on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Okay.
Flamethrower on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Welcome back to Hometown Today here on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. We are brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings and Professional Floor Covering here in Beaver Dam. That is your store for floors and so much more. I'm joined here by Danny and Naomi ahead of the Goodnight Princess performance coming up on Saturday. And Naomi, you just told me in the break, you've directed this piece before.
I have, yes.
How does that make this process maybe a little easier for you? And what challenges might you be encountering with making sure, hey, this is a new cast of individuals. I want to make sure this is their performance and not just a replica of what I felt happened before.
It's not any easier because it's a whole different experience.
Yeah.
Because I was a part of the UW Milwaukee's College for Kids, and so I directed one-act plays for them. I did it for like 5-6 summers or something like that. So this was one of the shows that I had directed, but also was a different situation where I had a lot of people, and we have a small cast this time. So trying to balance when people are going to come on, who's going to do what, because there are so many characters available, and trying to make sure to balance, kind of like what Kevin was talking about, balancing with the improv thing, like balancing who's going to be on stage when. So there's 2 characters who are like never leave the stage, and then everybody else kind of just comes and goes. And trying to make sure that I was timing it correctly. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make you this person, and can you be? No, you can't be that person. Okay, you can be this person later on, so that they have time to like breathe and quick throw something on, change,
You
whatever.
double book them.
No, so it was difficult, and trying to figure out who would also best represent each character too. So that was challenging.
Yeah, but I think we did it. Like, the casting's really good. But I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
It happens to me all the time.
But yeah, so it's a whole different process and different, space, that kind of thing, different children, obviously. So it's never going to be the same experience. No matter what, if you direct something 100 times, it's always going to be something different. So, yeah, I mean, I don't even remember what I did way back when I did this show before.
Fair enough. So it's brand new, essentially.
So it's brand new,
Where will this performance be at, and then how much are the tickets for this Saturday?
It will be in the Camps Auditorium. I'm making sure I'm saying the name right. I think so. Camps Auditorium, and it's $5 to $10, so 10 for adults, 5 for students. It's at 2 p.m. on Saturday afternoon, so it's going to be, and it's a quick show. It's not very long. We were debating about putting in an intermission because it's just a show that kind of just flows and goes really quickly.
Sure.
So I don't anticipate having an intermission, but yeah, it'll be fun. There's all sorts of jokes that are super corny, but they're funny and effective and things like that, and situations that are very chaotic, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh my gosh, am I ever gonna get this taken care of? And then all of a sudden at the very end it's just like, oh, we get a breath of fresh air kind of thing. So yeah, it's a fun show that kind of has its peak, and then all of a sudden it just starts to calm down at the end of it.
Awesome stuff. If I could have each of you speak on this, 5 days out from the performance, how you feel that the cast, the students, middle schoolers, right? How you feel they've gotten more comfortable in their roles, working with one another, and easing up to this performance after a couple of months of really hard work where they're taking their work home, they're getting together every week and trying to make this thing happen.
So we were just talking about them being more at ease with themselves.
Yeah, they're this show requires, it's about sleeping. So like people fall asleep on each other, and with middle schoolers, they're kind of uncomfortable doing that with the touch, and it's a great learning opportunity that we do touch each other in the theater, but this is our work. Like it's completely different than what you're dealing with, like with your feelings and like emotions. You're going to have emotions about this, but the emotions that you're feeling aren't going to be the same that you do on stage, and nor should they be, because you are working while you're on stage. It's the life of the actor. So it's a lot of teaching moments through that, of differentiating life and theater, which is, for an actor, very important.
Yep.
And I think they're doing a really good job at it. They're also like their character works, or I'm teaching them characterization, teaching them the 3 histories of a character and blah, 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 because that's just my specialty. And I'm just so proud of them that they got their lines down quickly. Most of them did. And, but even the ones that didn't are still working on their characters. Like most of them have a lot of different characters, and each of them are different. Like, and they're doing that, which is really cool. We have Anna, who plays most of our evil characters, and we found out really early on that she's a great evil actor. But like, even like, she's the Bad Fairy and Ravina, and they're complete, like, you and the Queen of Hearts, and you know it's the same person because she's the same person, but she puts on a different face, she puts on a different gait. It's so cool.
A different voice.
A different voice. Yeah, it's really cool to see them carry out what I'm trying to teach them. Like, it's really rewarding.
What's giving that instruction like especially since this is a younger group of kids who maybe only have a handful of performances under their belt? Like, you are going to be somebody else. What's teaching those fundamentals like, where they have to take on a whole new persona?
Well, when as we're doing our classes and stuff like that, we were doing some improv things or situational, places and character things, and then a lot of times at this age range too, you do a lot of modeling too. Yeah. So like, we would model how you would go about doing something, but then they just take it and do their own thing, which is awesome, because you want to give them an example, because they kind of do need to have an example. They don't always experience everything that we now as adults have experienced. Yeah. So then they look at what we do and how we've interacted with each other. There was one time where I'm like, you have to get used to like just working with other people, and I spun them around and did something, and they're
did a dance.
We did like a quick little dance.
And they're like, did you guys practice that?
They're like, how long did you practice that? We're like, nope, we just did it.
We just did it.
That's just what you do, you know? So just teach. You have to lead by example, and I think that's the thing that's most rewarding for doing something like this, is that you're hopefully influencing them to go out and do more and discover more and things like that. So I think that's what a lot of it is just leading by example, but then also letting them take it to their own spot, to their own place that they need to take it to.
Yeah. Do you both feel that sense of community has taken shape over the last couple of months? The students are getting more and more comfortable working with one another, as was mentioned before, but also working with both of you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
definitely,
sure.
definitely. I like, they all cheer when I get there, so that's really fun.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
I get pretty happy when that happens. But no, they work together with so well. I'm constantly telling them to be quiet off stage, because I'm the stage manager. But that's because they're having fun with each other back there. Like, and there's always going to be some riffs, and we have to mitigate that in a calm and easy way. But that's with any people working together, and those riffs create better community. Once you work through that conflict together, that creates a tighter bond. Yeah. And we were able to do that, and it's cool to see, even though we're only together an hour 0.25 a week. We were really able to grow something out of a little bit.
Yep, exactly.
This could apply to this performance or any of your experience with working with others, but what life skills are students building as they prepare for, you just mentioned, right? If there's riffs, you have to work through it with somebody. You have to be professional about it. There's a common goal. What are some other life skills, if you want to touch on a few, that the students are gaining and getting experience in through theater?
Well, like how we were talking previously about improv, being able to speak on your feet. Yeah. Being a part of theater is teaching you how to talk in front of people, because that's always a big thing. I mean, even in politics, even in, going to job interviews, whatever, being able to talk on your feet, being able to answer things and present yourself in the best light that you possibly can, that's what theater does for you. And so we wouldn't have people who could do improv if we didn't have had that experience previously, or you wouldn't be able to. I feel like that I have two different lives in some ways, because I work with deaf and hard of hearing people, so I know sign language and stuff like that. And I have always said that my sign language has helped my acting, and my acting helps my sign language. Yeah. Because you have to be expressive in different ways, and we as a society aren't always super expressive. And so in order to communicate with the deaf community, you have to show things on your face because that's a big communication tool.
Expressions, yeah.
Yeah, and so the same thing if you were coming for a job interview, like being able to go, they're going to ask you, you know, like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? You know, most kids aren't going to think of that kind of stuff. But,
Right.
you know, but if you think about, like, where do you think your character is going and why do they want to do this, then that helps them to start.
Think for yourself.
Yeah, think
The
for-
foresight, yeah.
But
Yeah.
also interpersonal communication. You cannot be an actor without listening to your fellow class people.
Yeah.
For
or
sure,
your co-stars. Like, you might know their lines, but you need to listen to their lines so you can react like
To what they're saying.
To what
Right.
they're
Yeah.
saying. And that's how you communicate with people. Like, everyone needs help listening, especially me, listening to the people that are talking to them and like actively hearing their idea instead of listening to the voice in your own head. You need to listen to the people around you, and that's interpersonal communication. Improv, acting, plays, or musicals, it's all the same. As you need to learn to communicate with people. And as a communication background, my other world, acting helps a lot in doing that. And
And
yeah.
especially if people are stuck.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's the thing too, is like if you're not listening to what they said and reacting to what it is that they said, so maybe they said something wrong or they said something that was like 2 pages ahead of where
Right.
you're actually supposed to be, then you're going to be like, oh, okay, can I?
It's not where I'm supposed
Can
to
I,
be. Yeah.
can I find a way to bring us back to where we actually
Yep.
need to be? So it's all that stuff, being able to react, being able to listen, being able to think on your feet, all of those things, and movement too. I mean, like just being more aware of our body space and stuff like
and
that.
what our bodies can do.
Yeah, so all that stuff.
Especially whether it's middle school age or even younger than that. Do you sometimes have kids that come in, they're a little more introverted, but they're interested in theater, or even not introverted, but you have to work on bringing them out more?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we have the elementary class, which my daughter's in, that's called
Class act.
Class Act. And yeah, they had a lot more students in theirs, and they had a lot of introverted people but they, like, by the end of it, they're still introverts because they're not going to change the person you are, but you're able to still step out there and deliver a great performance and still be an introvert.
Yeah, and we've had introverts in our
Yeah.
class, and you're like, come on. You like have to do a lot of coaxing.
You've got
you
this.
know,
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. And so sometimes it's a little bit more challenging than others, but you know, the thing is too is that they realize that it's fun, and then we try to present it in a safe space too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we try to make it non-judgmental, and we try to make it, you know, a place for you to explore and not be worried about, are people going to make fun of me?
Or am I gonna mess up?
Yeah, or am I going to mess up? Because if there is that kind of thing, then we're just like, no, put a kibosh on that. You know, like we are all here. We're all trying. We're all learning together. So.
We're a team.
Awesome
Yep.
stuff. Good learning atmosphere, and again, that's how you just build that community. We're going to kick it to break one more time, and when we come back, I kind of want to dive into each of your journeys a little more, as we did at the beginning, how you've developed in the theater industry over the years, and just the final details on Goodnight Princess coming up this Saturday. This is Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. We are brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings here in downtown Beaver Dam, celebrating their 167th anniversary with a 167th anniversary sale, as well as professional floor covering, your store for floors and so much more. 713 Park Avenue or proflr.com. And a quick reminder for you folks, for employers, the South Central Wisconsin Career Expo is a unique opportunity to meet both adult job seekers and junior and senior high school students. It's going to be on Tuesday, April 22nd from 9:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. It is taking place at the Beaver Dam High School Fieldhouse, and registration is available right now at DailyDodge.com. Limited space is available. Goodnight Princess is coming up this Saturday, March 15th at the Camps Auditorium. I want to quickly ask you both, Naomi and Danny, just how each of you feel you've developed in the theater industry over the years, from when you first got started to present day.
I'll look at you.
A
I'm
lot,
like, go ahead.
a lot. I mean, I started off doing musicals and not getting big roles because I'm a very good singer. I have a very hard time finding my voice, though. I have a very big range. I have falsetto that can pierce ears, but in a very low baritone voice. But like harnessing it and being where I need to be at all times is very difficult for me. But now I'm doing musicals with I Love You, You're Perfect as just one of the main cast members, which we were all main cast members for that show. So, but like harnessing what I can do with my voice has really gotten to me where I am. And just different like vocal tricks and breathing and all that fun jazz that I learned in college and becoming a performance minor. It made me grow as a person. I touched earlier on interpersonal communications. Clearly, I'm neurodivergent and have very hard time listening to people because the voices in my head are very loud. And theater has been able to knock those like the chaos down, so I can live in the moment more.
That's awesome.
And it's very good.
No, I love that.
Thank
That's
you.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't know it if you knew me or if you've met me. People would not know. I always try to joke around that I'm a wallflower, and they're like, "Yeah, okay." No, I actually am like have a huge stage fright. So
Okay.
like even during high school and stuff like that, I would just be like so nervous about a performance and like get physically ill and things like that right before a performance. Oh wow. And yeah, I know, right? So you wouldn't know that.
Wild.
Well, I know. So. But as time has gone on and as you get older, I mean, it's a stupid cliche, but it's true. Like, as you're getting older, you don't care what people think anymore. You know, it's like when you're young, you're like, oh, God, am I doing this right? And I still don't like my voice, my singing voice. I don't like to hear my own spoken voice because my voice is way low based on what I can sing. I can actually sing really high. Yeah. But I've gotten to the point where I'm not as inhibited as I was once before. So I think that's what theater does for you and what age does for you too. I mean, it's just like as you grow through the years and you do more things, you get less and less worried about what other people see or think or, whatever kind of thing. And you just kind of like let it go, which helped me to even be a part of this improv group that we've been in, and being able to teach young people and that kind of thing is like, you just kind of like let it go. And then the kids are like,
Yeah.
and it's like, but that comes with time, as a 13-year-old, you're not going to always be like, okay, I'm going to be free.
I don't care what people think.
Yeah, I don't care what people think,
Easier said than done.
I think Alexis Rose said it best in Schitt's Creek. Nobody cares, David.
Yeah, nobody cares. All
Like,
right.
you just do you, and people are going to be okay with that. And if they're not, then they're not going to be around you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I think that's how most people grow, because you have been coached and you have been
Directed.
in safe space, and people have been encouraging of you and things like that. So, and that's one thing too, that's why most actors talk about, like, they got on stage and people started applauding for them and they're like, oh, that feels really good.
Yeah.
And, or
More of that,
people
yeah.
laugh at my joke. Oh, okay, I need to do more of that, So it's like, it's something that helps to build you up from the inside out kind of thing. So, yeah.
You mentioned the word coach. Both of you are coaches in your own right now. What has each of your favorite part of watching this show taking shape been?
I'm a huge character guy. Shows don't go anywhere without solid characters. So to watch each of our actors grow into their character has been really, really cool. And I don't hold punches when I'm coaching. Like, I'm going to tell you straight up, because we don't have a whole lot of time. I can't hold punches.
Right.
Like, if you're stagnant in your
literal
character, But if you're stagnant in your character, I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you what you need to do to get over that. And they do it. Like, they take their notes so well. It's really, that's my favorite part to see, is them taking their notes and making it perfect.
And just being able to go from that being unsure kid to like being able to just be the character and be the person that they need to be on stage, kind of thing. So, I mean, it's all rewarding in itself. Where just being able to watch them grow from how we were when we first started in class, you know, just being kids there, you know, and they're just kind of like not sure what to do, and you know, and now being even more comfortable, and hopefully that'll grow over time too. And some of them might be back again in the same class next year, you know, and some of them move on to being in high school and doing things in high school and stuff like that. Or some might just be like, that was a great experience, I'm done, you know, and that's totally fine,
perfectly fine. Yeah.
And you don't know until you try, right?
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank both of you both for coming on. We're gonna get out of here in about a minute or two as the end of the program is approaching. So I have one last very important question.
Yes.
Goodnight Princess is coming up on March 15th at the Camps Auditorium, 2 p.m., correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Why should somebody join the BDACT?
Join BDACT.
Like in general, because we're a super fun group.
Yeah. We're an accepting community that if you want to work hard and play hard on stage, then
or even
come
behind
out.
stage.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we need people behind stage too. I mean, like,
100%.
Even if like you
around the stage, whatever.
Like,
directing, stage managing, producing, scene shop. If you like woodwork, if you like building stuff, like
lighting and sound
sound.
I mean, like we're a family with everybody who's a part of the production. You know, it's like. And we couldn't do it without them. Like, actors are awesome and stuff like that. But if you didn't have somebody who helped with costumes and people who didn't help with finding the props that you need or doing the lighting, I mean, like sometimes you can set a whole mood just with lighting and sound and whatever.
Especially what Tommy can do with lighting.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. So it's like being an actor.
From Margazan to Marshall.
Awesome.
It's not the only thing. So
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you both for coming on again. Goodnight Princess is March 15th at the Camps Auditorium, and then Mission Improbable will be March 13th through the 16th, and a unique experience there because the show will be different in essence every single day. I want to thank Naomi, I want to thank Danny, and I want to thank Kevin for all joining here today. Thank you guys for coming on, telling us a little bit more about BDACT and then the performances coming up.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, this has been Hometown Today, presented to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings and Professional Floor Covering, your store for floors and so much more, here on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Wisconsin